high stakes, high pressure conversations. What does that mean to you? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? In this video, we're going to talk about high stakes conversations. And more specifically, I want to talk to you about the basics, the fundamentals. What is a high stakes conversation? The reason why I want to talk about this, and you want to watch this video until the end, because many times as women in leadership, or you may be a man in leadership, we know what high stakes means, but sometimes we're not exactly sure, well, what qualifies as a high stakes situation. And so I want to talk to you about that today. I noticed that there's a lot of questions around this. I am in the process of developing an ebook for my audience, and I did a poll on LinkedIn to ask, what topics would you like to have in this ebook? And you know which topic came up as number one so far? I'm going to be doing the post on YouTube, and I'm also going to do the post on LinkedIn. But the number one topic was high stakes conversations. Let's talk about it today. Let's talk about exactly what is a high stakes conversation. And as we go through this conversation we're going to have, I'll do what I can to share with you over 20 years worth of experience as a C-suite executive, a director, and a manager, a public speaker, and executive coach, to share with you insights in terms of how you can navigate those high stakes conversations when you are a leader. If you're watching this portion of the video, you are watching the replay, and I'm glad that you're here today. Welcome, welcome. I do want to let you know that this is a live video. Therefore, there is typically a point in time when the audience will join the conversation. Give me just a few moments so I can say hello to everyone, and then we'll talk about the basics. Today is just going to be the basics, and I want to know what questions you have as it relates to high stakes conversations as well. So I want to say hello, good morning everyone, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what time of the day you're watching this video. When you hear high stakes conversations, what is the first thing that comes to mind? Put it in the comments below. I want to say hello to Bishop Burton. Good morning, Bishop. How are you doing today? Bishop Burton says, good morning, my sister, Bishop Burton. Good to see you, Bishop. Good morning, good morning. Hope you are doing fantastically well. Appreciate the heart emojis, friends. Always good to see you today, Bishop. Now, what are high stakes conversations? High stakes conversations it does not necessarily mean high drama. Some people think high stakes is high drama. That's not correct. High stakes, when you think of the word itself, it means there's a higher consequence in terms of what is being said. Not necessarily high drama. Higher consequence will come up when you are a leader, because you are in a more heavily visible role, and people are watching you to see exactly what you're going to say as a leader. So I wanted to say, hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today. Let me know what comes up for you when you hear high stakes. Put it in the comments below. I appreciate you being here. And also let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from today, so I can say hello to you. Now, as I mentioned, high stakes does not necessarily mean high drama. It means high consequence. There is a lot at stake, so to speak, or there is a risk associated with the conversation that you're going to have, and etc. So let's talk about high stakes conversations. What type of scenarios would equivocate to a high stakes conversation? And for those of you watching live or watching the replay, if I miss a topic or a conversation you consider to be high stakes as a leader, put it in the comments below, because I want us all to grow as a community. And I found that if we all understand the fundamentals, the basics, then we have a good foundation to build upon. And when I show you how to communicate at those higher levels in those very under pressure, challenging situations, then we all have the baseline. So we know exactly when we are in certain scenarios, there's a possibility that this may go under pressure and it may become high stakes. So a couple of situations rather, that I would qualify as high stakes are the following. And as I mentioned, this is a one-on-one. This is just the fundamentals today. And I'm just going to say a couple things, and you all let me know what other topics you think of. High stakes conversation, high consequence conversations, to me, would include the following. Let me say hello to Heina Butter 69. Hello, welcome. Heina Butter says, you're too pretty to be on here. God protect this queen. Oh, well, thank you, Heina Butter. But you know what, Heina Butter, I appreciate that. But I'm here to really elevate the way we communicate as leaders. I'm trying to impact as many people as I can. My direct audience I work with for my executive coaching practice and consulting practice are women in leadership specifically. But on YouTube and some of the other platforms that I have accounts on, I have men in leadership. I have people that are not leaders yet and that are thinking about it. And so really, Heina, my mission here on this earth is to really help you all communicate at that higher level than your peers and be able to communicate confidently and concisely under pressure. I know this is something that is not, people talk about it, but a lot of times they talk about it at a very high level. So high to where, one, either they haven't been in complex and really contentious conversations, or two, they just don't know the details of it. And so I'm here to be able to share with you my 20 years of experience interacting with different friendly and contentious situations, different congressional leaders, and just situations that come up as a leader to help you all be able to communicate at that higher level and provide you with the depth that you need. I'm not talking about theories and hypotheses, those high level skills. No, we're going into it in this channel, and I share with you exact strategies and techniques that will help you be able to communicate those really challenging situations. So I appreciate you, but I'm here on the mission. This is my mission on earth, to help you to become the best communicator you can be, because the world needs great leaders today. Now, these are my high stakes scenarios. And as I mentioned, for those of you watching, let me know in the comments below, what are some scenarios that you think of as high stakes, so that we can all make sure we're on the same page. Preparing for an interview, I consider that to be high stakes. Salary negotiation, there's a high risk, a high consequence. If you do not negotiate your salary, you will not be able to make the salary you're looking for. That's considered high stakes. Presenting in front of a board of directors, or a board of whatever organization you're working for, that can be under pressure. Providing a performance review to someone where they may not be performing as well as you'd like for them to. Maybe you're in a situation where you are an elected official and you're communicating with your constituents, or you're communicating with specific individuals about very sensitive topics. That's high stakes. We have the Bishop Burton is on the live today, and I would consider Bishop Burton to be in high stakes conversations all the time because of the role that he's in. He is a bishop, he's a leader of a church. That is high stakes. Even though there's aspects of it that encompass spirituality, religion, there still is conversations that he has that are high stakes, and we've talked about some of those here. If you are a business owner and you are negotiating contracts, developing partnerships, trying to get buy-in, that is high stakes. There's a high consequence to that. If you're not able to secure these partnerships, you're going to have a very hard time allowing your business to generate revenue and to be sustainable. If you are a woman in a leadership role, I consider that high stakes. You may be saying, why? Because depending on the role that you're in, you may be a woman that has been the only woman in the role, or maybe one of a few. There's a high risk and a high consequence with that. I consider that to be high stakes. If you are doing a presentation at a conference in front of a large group of people, that is high stakes. There is high pressure associated with that situation. Have you all ever been in any of these scenarios? Put it in the comments below. I'm just listing them off as they come to the top of my mind. If you are presenting or public speaking, maybe you've been invited to be a motivational speaker to a group of people. Even though you are motivating people, this is a high stakes situation. There's a lot on the line when you are speaking in front of people. Maybe you are having a very difficult conversation with someone. Perhaps you know they are embezzling funds. I've been in conversations like that. Maybe you know that they are doing something unethical, or maybe someone's asking you to do something unethical. That is a high stakes conversation. That's a very high pressure situation. Perhaps you're in a scenario where you are trying to develop a plan and you need to speak to different partners in the community because you have a real estate project you're working on and you're trying to develop it, but you need some input. I would consider that, high stakes. Maybe you are a community organizer and you have a large scale event, and I've done several of these over the years, and you need to get people to participate. You need people to donate products or donate services or come to the event, and you're the primary organizer. You are in a high stakes conversation because there's a lot that is riding on these conversations. excuse me, friends. These are situations where the stakes are high because the visibility is high and your room for error is low. Sometimes we make mistakes. None of us are perfect, and that's okay. But there's certain situations where you would like to ideally minimize the mistakes that you're making. High stakes situations, conversations are one of those. Maybe you are in a meeting with some of your peers and you have a team member, a coworker, a peer that disagrees with you and is giving you a hard time and is trying to debate with you back and forth. That is a high stakes conversation. Maybe you're in a situation where you are in the finance industry and you are having to deliver some bad news to someone about an investment that they made. That is a high stakes conversation. The situations I mentioned to you are situations that I have thought of literally off the top of my head talking to you that are high stakes. And what I want you to take away from this video as a one-on-one on high stakes conversations is that high stakes does not mean high drama. It means that there is a high consequence. There's a higher risk associated with what you are doing. And if you are in any form of a leadership role, you are managing people, managing projects, managing organizations, and etc., you by default are in a very high stakes type of situation. And if you have found yourself where you are struggling with this and you're not exactly quite sure, well, what do I say? How do I say it? When do I say what I need to say? Then this is a fantastic reason why you should subscribe to this channel. We talk about these very under pressure, challenging situations all the time. And we talk about ways that you can navigate yourself. Now, there's a couple videos that I do want to share with you that will be great places for you to start if you are new to me. And I want to say hello to Alpha Printer X, I believe. So I do have a role. I'm here on YouTube as a business owner, just to clarify your answer. So Bishop Burton says, just one moment, let me hide this user. Bishop Burton says, I'm looking to invest in a business with one of my friends, but I'm wrestling because I don't want to lose my investment, and this is very challenging. Okay, so Bishop Burton, I appreciate you mentioning that. When you are trying to invest in a business with your friends, you don't want to lose your investment. So I'm assuming that you've already invested in this business and you're trying to bring someone on, your friend, as a partner or someone to help you with the investment. I'm assuming that's what you're saying. Let me know if I didn't get that correctly. But Bishop, one of the things I would say when you are wrestling with something, and this is from an executive coaching standpoint, I would want to ask you, what specifically is it that you're wrestling with? There's something that you're wrestling with as it relates to this topic. I don't know what it is specifically. It could be, as you mentioned, you don't want to lose out on your investment. It could be your friend. There could be an aspect of this investment that you're a little bit concerned about. And you just, maybe you don't, not to say you don't necessarily, maybe there's a certain aspect of confidence, maybe in the friend that you have, that may not be where at the level where it needs to be for you. Something with the business, maybe the industry is something you're concerned about. the longevity of it and how it's going to go. So Bishop Burton says, yes, that's correct. So yes, I would say, what is it about this investment that is making you concerned specifically? What is it? Bishop, there's something there. And I know I'm about to finish the live now, but we can always talk about it this afternoon when I go live. But really think about it to yourself. What is it that is making me a bit apprehensive about having this person come on board? If you have financially invested in something and you're a bit concerned about it, then there's a reason, excuse me, why you are concerned. It may have something to do with what you've invested in. It may have something to do with the actual person, or it may have something to do with the business. Maybe it's the business and your friend. You're just like, I don't know how this is going to work out. And whatever you determine that thing is that you are wrestling with, then take it one step further. And I would say, if I'm wrestling with this, what is the best outcome that could come out of this situation? What is the worst outcome that could come from this situation? And determine if it's worth it. If it is going to cost you to lose your investment, and you've devoted thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on where you are, then it may not be worth it. And so find out what that thing is, Bishop. What is that thing that you're wrestling with specifically? What is it? And then determine what's the best case scenario that will happen if this person invests and you bring them on board. What's the worst case scenario? And if you cannot live with that worst case scenario, then you may want to just pause on bringing that person into your investment specifically right now. So I hope that gives you some insight to think about. We're going to talk a bit more about high stakes conversations over the next couple of weeks, and I will be live a little bit later this afternoon. I appreciate you all so much for being here and being present. Let me know how I can support you. Let me know what challenges you're dealing with, what questions you have. I'm here to help you any way that I can, and I will do a video just for you, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.